Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Imposters Club. It's the podcast for misfits in tech. I'm your host, Teddy Kim, and today I'd like to talk about work-life balance. Yeah, it's been on my mind lately. But first, a little background. Last week, I went to happy hour with a colleague of mine who works at Amazon. Over drinks, I was curious to know what the workload is like at Amazon. There's been so much negative press about working conditions there, and I wanted to get the inside scoop. So here's the deal. Get ready for the red pill. At Amazon, you're not actually supposed to get everything done. Wait, what? Yeah. Amazon intentionally oversubscribes knowledge workers. As an Amazon employee, you are deliberately given more work than you could possibly do. Why? Well, being oversubscribed acts as a forcing function. If you don't know what a forcing function is, it's a concept from system design. The idea is that forcing functions take you out of autopilot and make you consciously think about the task at hand. The textbook example of a forcing function would be an alert dialog that appears when you try to delete a file. Are you sure you want to permanently delete this file? The system forces you to consider the consequences of your actions. Amazon's management approach is rather different from prevailing institutional norms. The fact of the matter is that from birth to maturity, institutional culture slowly but surely erodes your capacity for critical thought. Think back to grade school. Do what you're told. Listen to instructions. Color inside the lines. Obey orders. Stand in line. Wait your turn. Yeah, our schools and other institutions create sheeple. And the oddballs who think critically and consider the consequences of their actions are called troublemakers. How did we get here? Well, prevailing institutional culture is a holdover from the times of industrial manufacturing, where workers were prized for their muscle and pliability. If you're working on an assembly line or in a coal mine or a fishing boat, obedience and compliance are very important professional qualities. But tech is about collaborative knowledge work, and different rules apply. The qualities that are most prized on a factory floor are liabilities in tech. In tech, you cannot work on autopilot. There is no autopilot. And the cost of intellectual laziness is complete, utter, and abject failure. When a company goes on autopilot, layoffs are soon to follow. If you doubt that, then consider the examples of AOL, Yahoo, and Tumblr. AOL is what happens when you don't consider the consequences of your actions. Amazon knows this, and so they implement specific procedures that turn conventional management techniques upside down. Consider this simple analogy. Working at most companies is like being in an eating contest. Except at this eating contest, you don't get to choose what you're going to eat. It could be hot dogs. But it could also be deviled eggs. Ew. It doesn't matter. The work never ends, and the clock is ticking. So, chow down, buddy. You have to keep eating until the deviled eggs are gone, or until you barf. Now, instead of an eating contest, Amazon management has created a buffet. There's way too much food for one person to eat, but there's no expectation that you'll be able to cram it all down. The beauty of the buffet model is that it is a forcing function. There's too much to eat and so many choices, so you have to be really crisp about priorities. Forget about getting it all done. Not going to happen. You need to figure out the most important thing to work on at any given moment. Well, what if you can't prioritize at the work buffet? You don't know how. What if you can't figure out the most important thing to work on at any given time? Well, at a food buffet, you just load up your plate with iceberg lettuce and croutons, low-value rabbit food that's really not gonna move the hunger needle. At the work buffet, you load up your queue with trivial tasks that won't move the needle. You work your ass off, but you don't make progress. It turns out the hamster wheel is incredibly stressful. Eventually you burn out, resign in a huff, and go find a job at another company. Thank you. Don't come again. So, to recap, Amazon has created a system that segregates people who are really good at figuring out the most important thing to work on at any given time. This system also identifies people who have a tendency to make themselves sick at the work buffet. The latter group is likely to leave Amazon and find work at Amazon's competitors, bringing their dysfunctions along with them. And I think you're beginning to see how Amazon became a world-beating behemoth. Imagine what your organization could achieve if everybody were working on the most important thing at any given moment. Now, imagine where your organization would be if you could seed your competitors' workforce with people who suck at prioritization. Yeah, remember, the person who you are afraid to take to a buffet is likely the same person you do not want on your team, but he is the person you want working for the competition. So, if you approach work like an eating contest, you are going to make yourself sick, but you have a choice. Chill out. Step away from the keyboard so you can take a moment to deliberate. Take a minute to consider the consequences of your actions. Identify the one thing that will have the greatest impact right now. Then apply maximal force to accomplishing that one thing. Repeat until it's time to go home. Then go home. Yeah. I'd like to leave you with a final thought. Work-life balance isn't something your employer gives you. It's something you give yourself. You are responsible for managing your own life. Work is just a part of it. Start by acknowledging that you can't get everything done. Then embrace the fact that, you're not supposed to get everything done. Once you're okay with that, you might find that you actually enjoy the work buffet. The show notes for this episode are available at impostersclub.io. Check it out. Feel free to leave me a comment and mingle with other imposters just like you. impostersclub.io.